Hey guys, Joe here, and today we're restarting again. Sorry. Very sorry. So, um, I lost the map again. Well, I didn't really lose it, it's just like the file doesn't exist anymore. So we're doing it on a new thing. And we're gonna be starting over again. Civilization will start in Morocco. It will. I believe in it. And I hope you believe in it too. Because if you don't, then I shall sue you. But anyway, civilization will begin. Well, people will start existing on a small patch of territory. Actually, I'm going to keep it at the same color regional ones. People will start on a small patch of land and they will begin exploring. Now, there are no other people in the world. These are the only peoples. And they will expand up and around. First actual people will start here in Morocco with not the actual people. The first actual civilization will start here in Morocco, and people will begin expanding further till they reach. Now, they don't have like any sailing technology at all, so they won't be colonizing up here yet. However, they will be able to expand farther down the coast of Morocco. Now, this actually isn't the white isn't a civilization, it's just land that people know exists. And the red will eventually declare that it has claimed all territory that people know exist. Now, there isn't a rough design of what people know exist. However, they will claim all of it. And this is what they will end up with. And they will also be, however, people will quickly discover things. Now, there's a big problem about discovery in this region, and it's that, well, first of all, there's like the Sahara Desert right here. Second of all, there's some Moroccan mountains right here. So that will make it hard for the red to expand, but they will. Now, I have a country RP and it's currently winter 1936, but I won't continue on to summer 1937 until someone more than one person is doing it. So please go and join that. But anyway, people will explore more and soon the Moroccans will link up to here. Now, Morocco will place some cities around, with their first official cities being located here in northern Morocco along the coast. And deciding to pick a one that is an important symbol, they will choose that one, and that will become the capital of the country, Morocco. But anyway, away from that map, and we can further do expansion. However, the less populated areas of Morocco down here will feel neglected, and so they will join up in a rebellion against the main Moroccan government, pushing up here, up to this urban area. And people over here will also join with them. Now, there aren't a lot of people living here. Um, or else these areas wouldn't be rebelling. But anyway, they are rebelling, so but because there aren't a lot of people here, it also makes them a little bit weak. So when red troops begin storming into these areas, they aren't really in a position to stop the red. as the red begins to retake their lost territory. Now, the red will prioritize the defeating the yellow country over the blue as it is closer to their capital, and so they will push the yellow back over here, and the yellow will begin. This also bit of loyal area will begin pushing out. However, it will be quickly reversed, and its existence will be in question when it falls over to the yellow country. Now, the yellows realize that they are going to fail in existence, so they send out most of their population and government on a mass migration away, and they end up in this area and begin exploring around it. They couldn't go any further south because they had heard tales of the desert. The desert. So they will not be going there. Instead, they will continue and then they claim up all of this area and abandon all of their original territory so that it is. What is happening? Okay, what? Why is this been replaced? Just a sec. Something weird has occurred with the colors. There. Fixed. The red will pour into the yellow and capitulate it. Believing that there aren't any more yellow people, the red will completely take this area. And they will eventually. Now, the blue isn't very populated, but it's more populated than the yellow was. And eventually, the two countries will sign a peace treaty in which the red will gain control over the northern blue Moroccan area, which will make the borders look something like this. Now, red Morocco is not very happy with this peace deal as they didn't get all their land back as they had hoped. However, they will quickly expand. And new water technology begins to exist, as should be expected. And they will discover the ocean. I'm not actually going to color in the ocean because I don't want to. Actually, I'm going to just make the ocean a little bit lighter because it just looks a little better. But anyway, they will finally develop seaworthy technology, and the Reds will land up in Gibraltar, finally discovering that Europe as a continent exists. Now, let's take a break from red and blue and take a look over at the yellow. The yellow begin exploring and will discover more stuff until they reach the coast again. Now, they are unaware that this is the same coast that they were originally at, so they will begin expanding further and taking this coast. Now, many of the people here want to go back to their lands that they originally controlled, as they see it as that those are their homelands. It is, so you can't change that. However, many people are like, we can't go back. So, however, the world becomes more and more urban. Yellow will get its first ever cities, as with their capital being here. The former original yellow area will also get two cities as more and more people come into existence. Red groups will also appear, and 2, 3 singular blue cities will appear, and it will actually be this inland one, which is named the capital. Now, really the only source of food for these countries is like fishing in the waters, except when red explorers continue up into the lands that have not been explored that are called Spain and discover that there is another type of food source that they can have, and that is farming. And so people, masses of explorers will come up into Iberia, as well as people hoping to claim chunks of land to farm, and eventually the red will claim the entire area. Now, many people are angry about this. Like, for example, the people who came here and explored it and claimed their own farmland, they see this as a violation of their property, and they declare that this is unacceptable. And so the beginnings of rebellion take place. The first is the Cyan Rebellion in Portugal. There is also the Dark Green Rebellion over here in Mercia. And there's also the Gold Rebellion and the Light Gray Rebellion. Now, all these rebellions aren't going to fight each other. These are individual groups of farmers that declare that this land is theirs. The Portugal and Gray groups will immediately take over these areas, with the Gray also pushing farther over here. Gold will take some of this area, however, failing to take the vital Strait of Gibraltar, which is the only place to get from Spain and Morocco, as they don't have very good sea travel. However, while this is happening, another country will pop up, and that is the dark pink country over here in Catalonia. However, the rest of this land will be gobbled up by the dark green team. The red will agree to withdraw. However, they declare that they will sponsor a drawing up of lands. So this is the peace treaty that has occurred here. So first of all, the Morocco's control over Gibraltar was confirmed and expanded. Some land exchange happened over here between Portugal and the Grey team. Some over here between Portugal, not the Grey team and Seville. Some between Portugal and Seville. Some between Murcia and the dark green team, and some between the dark green team and Catalonia. But anyway, these are the new borders of the world. And these small Iberian states will immediately declare that they want their land. And farmers will again start to explore land. Well, people who want to be farmers, because there aren't really any farmers right currently, will start expanding out into Iberia. However, when they run against the Pyrenees mountain range, they will fail to expand farther north and will just central in onto Iberia, officially discovering the whole thing. Portugal will the gray team, no. Yeah, the gold team, I said the wrong country there. Will Portugal will immediately begin expanding. However, the gold team will, seeing that they won't get any land if this is just done by people rushing in, propose that all the countries of Iberia come together to divide the land. Nobody agrees on this, however, and so Portugal, seeing that it won't get it, not Portugal, the gold team, I keep speaking, seeing that it won't get any land if it just sits around, will begin to expand. And expand they will. They will make a bulge up north. They will send a group up here who will form a colony. And gold team groups they will start be giving stuff that is considered valuable at the time, like special kinds of shells or whatever, rocks that are shiny. And so these groups of explorers will be given this, and so they will begin in exchange for joining over to the gold team, and so they will, leading to these pockets of gold team. All the other countries will begin doing the same thing, declaring, giving stuff to explorers in exchange for them settling down in the areas and claiming it for the country that sponsored them. The gray team will also begin practicing this, claiming pockets of territory all the way up here to what Catalonia considers to be theirs. The dark green team will start doing this. Now, the gold team is the one that has the most, however, other countries, as you can see, are doing it. And Catalonia finally will begin doing it, until most of the groups of explorers that are still in their areas have been sponsored. Now, this area is starting to be called Spotted Iberia, for all the spots in Iberia. And countries will begin expanding, hoping to connect up with their exclaves. However, this is not going to happen, as some of the exclaves are just too far from their countries, and some are just cut off by other exclaves or other countries, and it's just causing this whole giant mess in Iberia of countries just rapidly expanding into territories that technically shouldn't belong to them, but do. Portugal will attempt to stop any large pockets from forming near them and fail with two particularly large ones appearing, and soon they will be almost completely blocked and out by this pink one that belongs to Catalonia, and so they will squeeze out and connect to this one. While this one the while the gray country will pour into that area, and Seville will claim this area. The dark green, as well as its pockets, will begin expanding to make the borders look like this. Catalonia will quickly connect up with their pocket over here, as well as claim Catalonia. However, not before this pocket claims a sizable chunk of territory. Now, many of the African countries are like, why the heck are you doing this? Except the yellow one is secret and nobody knows it exists, so it's not saying that. It's not complaining. It doesn't even know this is happening. It's not connected with the rest of the world whatsoever. So they're just completely oblivious to whatever is happening in Iberia. However, as more and more of Iberia comes to be claimed up, more and more tensions arise between the powers, trying to gain land that they believe to be is theirs, that is just taken up by pockets of territory controlled by other countries that technically shouldn't really be in that area. Like, Catalonia shouldn't be over here. The gold team shouldn't be over here. It's just they are, so. Portugal has managed to connect all of the spots that they made except for these two, while Catalonia has done much of the same except for two that just like never had a chance, to be honest. The gold team and the dark green team, meanwhile, have connected up with none of theirs, as they didn't really have a chance. Catalonia will push into these territories until this last spot of territory is left, which every nation but Portugal has the ability to claim a spot in. Where is it? Portugal will sponsor a previously unknown group of explorers to form a dot. And a dot they do form. And that just makes the borders look even worse. Catalonia will further push. And finally, it's just the dark green. And the dark green will take the remainder. And now Iberia is a complete, absolute mess with a capital M. However, down in Africa, not as quite messy things are happening, with people just exploring land that was previously unexplored, until a group of red explorers stumbles upon this, which is very bad for the yellow country, as the red thought they were dead. And they once they accidentally touch up, and then tensions start to rise between the two. And that will actually do it for today's episode. With tensions rising in Iberia over the massive borders and tensions rising between Morocco and the yellow team, what do you think will happen? Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you